Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, students, we are going to discuss today a very important topic of the inheritance, and that is the Mendel law of the inheritance. Basically, you know very well the term inheritance, and Mendel was the first scientist who have ever explained the law, you can say, who have ever explained. He is also known as the father of genetics because he is the one who have ever explained about the inheritance. So he is called as the father of genetics because he is the first who have discussed about the genes, that the gene used to transfer from the parents to the offspring, and they have some specific characters that they are carrying from the parents to the offspring. So he is known as the father of the genetics. So George Mendel, who was basically the George, his full name was the George Mendel, and the most interesting thing was that he was just in a mock. He was not the scientist. He was just in a, you can say, the mock of one who used to praise in the church. So he was in a mock in the Australia, and what happened? He had to actually he have figured out the law of the genetics. He is the first ever scientist who have discussed about the gene, that the gene is the discrete factor, that is the word discrete factor, which are basically transferred from the parents to the offspring. So he is basically you can say that a mock can be the scientist. It is so much surprising now that the Mock is the father of the genetics. Why? Because he have a very strong observation. And you know what, better, the science totally relying on the observation. If your observation is good, then you can be a very good scientist, whether you have knowledge relevant to it. So it is like that, better. He was a very good observer, and he was observing the garden that was near to the church, and in that garden there was a pea plant. So he used to observe every day, like he was observing every generation of the pea. He was seeing that every generation have the new something, like they have the new trait. So how that is possible? And then he starts staring on it, and he have selected the pea name as the Pesum sativum. So Pisum sativum is the scientific name of the pea, and he has selected this plant for the genetic studies. For his genetic studies, and he had mentioned 4 reasons in his book. The one of the greatest reason was that he was saying that the pea plant have the number of the different traits. The pea plant have the number of the different traits, like the plant have the trait of seed color. The plant have the trait of seed shape, like might be the seed is round, might be the seed is wrinkled. So you can, in fact, you can see from here that these were the traits of the pea. Like there were the many number of the traits. The first thing, like the seed shape, seed could be round or the wrinkled, seed could be yellow or the green, the flower color could be purple or the white. Similarly, the pod shape could be inflated or the constructed. Similarly, pod color could be green or yellow. Similarly, flower position, it could be the axial or it could be the terminal. Similarly, the stem length, it could be long or it could be short. So they were the different traits which need to study in the pea plant. And one of the most important thing was that these all traits are in contrast, like there is nothing in between. ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब there is a contrast difference between the both trait, like one could be round and one could be the wrinkled. It is not like that कि half is round and half is wrinkled. No, it is like round or wrinkled, yellow or green. There is no color in between, yellowish green, which can make us confused about that which trait is there. So there was a contrasting trait like purple or white, flat or constructed, green, yellow, axial, terminal, long or short. So the second major reason which he have told about that why I have selected the pea plant is that it do have the contrasting traits. Moreover, beta, it is one of the most major reason that he have selected, and one of the good reason of selection of the pea plant is also that they can do self-fertilization. They can do self-fertilization as well as plus cross. They can also do the cross fertilization. And the next most important thing was that organism should have the the pea plant have the short and fast life cycle. So these were the most major important points. On the basis of this, the Mendel have selected the pea plant. ठीक है. So although these all features are present in the pea plant, that's why he have selected the pea plant. These four features are very much important to study the genetics, and these four features were present in the pea plant. Basically beta, normally the flower of the pea plant allows self pollination, but cross pollination can be occur if we are going to do the transfer of the pollen grain from one flower from one flower to another flower part of the flower, like, or to another plant flower. So the cross fertilization is can also occur there. So let's see the Mendel first law. What was the Mendel first law? The Mendel first law was Mendel's law of segregation. What is that? Mendel law of segregation. So what is the Mendel law of segregation? Basically, Mendel studied the inheritance of the seed shape first. Okay, what was the, let me to explain you in detail that what is actually explained in the Mendel law of segregation. In this law, Mendel have actually explained the segregation of the genes. The gene used to segregate from their alleles, and then they used to transfer to the next generation. So how he have actually proved this? Let me to tell you. Basically beta, first before going on that, I should have need to tell you that what is the law of the segregation, what is the definition of the law of segregation. That is that Mendel concludes that the trait under study were controlled by discrete. Discrete is the name given by the Mendel to a gene. Later on it is called as a gene. In each organism, the genes are present in pairs. Each gamete formation, the gene allele of each pair segregate from each other, and each gamete receive one gene from the pair. When the gametes of the male and the female's parents unites, the resulting offsprings again get the gene in pair, and this is known as the law of segregation. So what actually he explained? He explained that the gene is basically the one which having the information about the trait, which have the information about trait. So he is the one who is saying that information about the trait, and he said that, what he said, that this is, let's suppose, chromosome, fine, okay, and this is the gene having the information of the same trait. Now what is saying, that he is saying that during gamete formation, when the gamete is going to form, gamete formation, like you have learned in the reproduction, the gametes used to form, so that what will happen, the egg would have the 23 number of the chromosomes. Similarly, the sperm would have the 23 number of the chromosomes. So these both are called as a gamete. So during gamete formation, what will happen? These chromosomes will get separate. This chromosome will get separate, and one chromosome in the egg, obviously, and here also the one chromosomes in the sperm. Clear to you? During the gamete formation. Now, what actually during the gamete formation? Obviously, beta, this is the allele. So one gene from one chromosome is going to enter into the gamete formation. Clear to you? Similarly, if you remember beta, don't get confused. It is very easy topic. If you remember in the meiosis, what was happening in the meiosis, in the cell division, you have read it already that during meiosis, the number of the cells used to get half. Like from 2n, it used to convert into the n. Like if there's a 46, so obviously there would be the 23. And what this 23 is, this is a gamete. So actually it means that the both allele of one gene is not going to transfer, only one gene is going to transfer. You know it very well that the 46 is going to make two gamete cells. It is going to make the two gamete cells. So it means that 50% information come here and the 50% of the chromosomes came here. Like, and these both having the information of each and every trait. Is it clear to you? Matlab, what I mean to say, I'm saying that this is the chromosome. This chromosome have the information, whatever the information of the trait is present in these chromosomes. When they are going to split, now this chromosome and this is a chromosome. So they still have the information, everything like eye, ear, nose, height. Eye, ear, nose, height. But what happens? It is like that the alleles used to get separate. Alleles used to get separate, and one gene is present in one chromosome. Is it clear to you? So this is what I mean to say, that according to the Mendel, he said that during the gamete formation, the gene will transfer the allele from, like one gene from an allele is going to transfer there. And when? Now what will happen? During the zygote formation. During the zygote formation, but what will happen? They are going to unite together, and obviously zygote is what? When the fertilization, the zygote used to be there after the fertilization. So when the egg is going to unite with the sperm, like fertilization, of the fertilization there will be the zygote, and zygote would have again the same information, that is a 46 number of the chromosomes. And this 46 is just like that, okay, the mother having the chromosomes of eye, ear, nose, whatever height. So the father sperm is going to unite, the father chromosome is going to unite with it, having the information of eye, ear, nose, or whatever. So this will again make the 46 number of the chromosome. So if you are going to read this definition again, then it would be very clearly to you that he said that during gamete formation, the genes, allele of each pair segregate from each other, and each gamete receive one gene from the pair. When the gamete of the male and female parents unite, resulting offspring again get the gene in pair. And this conclusion were made as a law of segregation. Is it clear to you? So simply, the Mendel want to say that the genes from the allele used to segregate. They used to segregate. Is it clear to you?